This week, we're smoking Lanceros and drinking Bloody Marys. What else is new? Episode 294 of Stogie Geeks. For the past 6 months, we've been talking about the Nicaraguan boom. What does it mean? But let me tell you, I have exact numbers right here of the imports per region for 2018. And also in studio, we have Dr. Doug White, who is joining us for some commentary on the industry. There you go. And we have live via Zoom or Skype, the internet thingy, is Clarke, who's no stranger to the Stogie Geek show. I'm having some good Bloody Marys already. Stay tuned. It's going to be a fast-moving show.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
And
Confidence. Confidence isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air, thinking you're better than anyone else. It's walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to anyone in the first place.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome back to Stogie Geeks, episode 294. I am your host, Joe Hozempa. We have live via Zoom. I confirmed it. It's Zoom. Clarke, how's it going, sir?
What's up, Hozempa?
My favorite Red Sox fan is on the line. I'm excited. We're not going to spend some time talking about that. We'll do that again. Chris is joining us for some commentary about a subject that I have been speaking and talking about here on the Stogie Geek show for about 6 months consistently, and that is the Nicaraguan boom. And I have some numbers, and we're going to talk about it. I also have live in studio Dr. Doug White. How's it going?
Hello.
How's everything going?
It's fine. I got free cigars off of Paul's Don't Touch shelf, so I figured that's a plus.
It is a plus.
Yeah.
It is a plus. And also, we're a big fan of Lanceros here on the show.
Okay.
Right? And so what I did, and since we were having Bloody Mary, which is my choice of drink for sure. I do like the old-fashioned, but even when I go out to restaurants, only Paul Asadorian can make good old-fashioned. And so next time he's on the show, I guess we'll have to have that, right? Might be June. So we are doing the Aloyo Edición Limitada Siri Habano Lancero. And we'll take some time out to talk about that. And obviously, I chose it. It pairs great with a Bloody Mary, my opinion. I did it with the peppered brim, no fruit, extra spicy. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Enjoy.
Yay.
And then we have Chris. You want to talk? You want to talk about some Nicaraguan imports?
Yeah, let's do that. It's no secret that Nicaragua has taken the market by storm. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the numbers, the growth last year was led by Nicaragua. Now, keep in mind, there's still 2 months of reporting to come back. But Nicaragua shipped 17.6 million handmade premium cigars last year. In October, rather, sorry. That's up 37% from the 2017 levels.
Yep.
And this data comes from the Cigar Association of America. And it's interesting to look at because it used to be, Dominican and Cubans. Mm-hmm. But now Nicaragua remains a top exporter of handmade cigars with 144.2 million cigars in the first 10 months of 2018. That's almost 50% of the cigars that were imported in the United States. That's insane.
But let's stop and take a look at that, right? First and foremost, I definitely don't want to forget about awesome cigars from Honduras. I am a fan of the Honduran, Nicaraguan, anything, okay? When Joe Hozempa gets his life in order and he produces his own stick, it will be a Honduran Nicaraguan blend for sure. I am a fan of that combination there. But, you know, taking out Cubans, I mean, Cubans are a mystique product there. We all know that sometimes that, you know, we are gifted Cubans and stuff like that, and that there is a ban, you know, on there. There is an embargo. It's been going on for many presidential turnovers since then, for sure, with the Cuban embargo. Obama tried to kind of lighten that up. They did ease the amount that you can actually take into the States. There are some parameters on that. We can do another show on that. But what I find fascinating is the premium cigar industry, and these numbers are from January of 2018 through October, because the November and the December numbers are not in yet. Handmade cigars has topped over $30 million, okay? And what does that mean? Well, it's showed consistent growth. And obviously, any industry that shows consistent growth will start to be watched by our awesome government there, who's on a slight vacation.
But yeah, not this week. They're not watching this week.
They're not, right? They're not watching it. That's a good point. You know, I was trying to, you know.
Oh yeah, you can do anything right now.
You know, there. But, you know, over the past 6 months here on the Stogie Geeks show, I have talked about the fascination of boutique cigars or new blends that have come in, and those can include some of the classic facings, and how Nicaragua is clearly here to stay, right? And then when you look at that there, like you said, the Nicaragua is almost 50% of, it's like 40.2% of the total overall imports of premium cigars. And, you know, I think that's a testament to potential economic development over there. I think it's a testament to testing the blends. What I don't think that when we report these numbers is that we don't take into account that before, and I do think that this needs to be duly noted, okay? Before, cigars were Honduran, Nicaraguan, Dominican. You had some from Mexico. They were kind of, you know, set in their own regions there. And now you have a Honduran Nicaraguan mix. You have Connecticut broadleaf Nicaraguan, which is something I've been turning very onto lately. That type of mixture there. So what do you think about the future of Nicaragua from an economic standpoint? Because you got to remember, you got some turmoil down there too.
Well, from an economic standpoint, I mean, you have to look at a couple of different things. Basically, what they've done is they've taken the seed from Cuba. They've taken the seed from Honduras. They've taken the seed from Mexico. And they've planted it in Nicaragua, and they've experimented with it. And Nick Perdomo is a great example of this. He's constantly revolutionizing how tobacco is grown in Nicaragua. And when you look at the numbers, okay, I will give Honduras a little credit because a lot of their tobacco is actually being imported into Nicaragua to be blended into cigars. Mm-hmm. So I would probably, in my opinion, bump their number up 10 or 15%. Because I feel like a lot of their tobacco is going to Nicaragua, but being shipped out as a Nicaraguan cigar. So what I see happening in Nicaragua is one of two things. One, the government's going to smarten up and stop restricting the people and give them what they want.
Cool.
Or two,
no government's ever done that, so I'm more interested in two. Go ahead. Right? I mean, I'm a political science major who chickened out of Suffolk law. So moving on. Number 2.
So, number 2, I see a revolt coming from the citizens and a nationalization process there that could do one of two things to the cigar industry as a whole. One, it could mean less product coming out, or 2, it could mean way more product coming out and they can't keep up with the demand. So one of two things is going to happen, as does with any business that grows exponentially this quickly. They're either going to flatline and fall off because they can't keep up, or they're going to find ways to continue going up. Cuba's problem was they mass farmed everything. They never rotated crops, and they dried their soil out. So they have to do sustainable farming. And I think the companies that are there now have a good long-term plan. And I think Nicaragua is just going to keep to grow. Or keep growing, rather.
Okay. Yep. Do you have an opinion on this, Doug? Not yet?
Well, I will say that historically, Nicaragua has had a lot of grief, and that when things started going well, La Revolucion happened, and meet the new boss, same as the old boss, and things sort of collapsed and started over. But yeah, I don't know what will happen in the future. I mean, I know a lot of cigars are Nicaraguan now.
Yeah. A lot of the newer companies are Nicaraguan. A lot of the classic facings. When I say classic facings, it's the older companies that have been around.
I'm going to ask questions because I don't know.
Please do.
So when Cuba closed down, I always heard all the Cuban tobacco people all went somewhere else. They all packed their bags and went to Nicaragua and Honduras and all this. So that, because every time I've ever seen a Cuban cigar, which is they were awful. They were like dried out crap, and because they're sold to stupid tourists.
Yep.
And I always, people said, you don't need to worry about Cuba anymore because all the people left anyway, and they'll never get it back. But why don't they make cigars in the United States?
It's a very good question. Some of them do. However, it's cost of labor.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta look at it from a business perspective, right? If it costs of labor, I mean, why you look at healthcare, right? Not to turn this into a political debate, but there's so many hands that go to the pot. Then you have unions. You don't think that if we put a plantation in the middle of America, it did that they would try to
they grow cigarette tobacco.
Yeah, but also that's a good point. But it's the process is different. Process is machine made. There's a lot of laws that differentiate that. That's one of the problems of the FDA that we talk about more there. But in my opinion, it would make sense. Hey, get this crop from Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominica, wherever. Build a plant in America. You don't have to worry about shipping. I don't worry about that. I would imagine we probably would be spending about $28 a stick.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, so and because there's so many people that have to go through the process of the fermentation, making sure it's the right fermentation, doing the blending, the wrapper binder filler. It's a product that kind of takes time, when you pass all those factors along from a business perspective, let's face it, they want to turn a profit. In regards to Nicaragua, I think. I guess I'm jumping in there with option 3. I don't think that Nicaraguan is going to fall off the map. I just think that historically, if you look at any industry, even take out cigars, they're going to squeeze the people for more labor. They're going to squeeze the crop for as much as they can to do what they can to try to continue to keep up with the demand for Nicaraguan cigars. But don't be surprised if it goes the other way. Let's say you have a super awesome cigar company 5-10 years from now, one of the boutiques that have really stood the test of time there, proved its point. They capture a lot of market share. What's basically going to happen? Why can't you just move a Nicaraguan plant down to Honduras and ship it and roll the blend the same? I don't know the components of that. I would definitely save that question for when we get some of the rollers, either interview via Zoom or Skype or here in studio as we go through the Stogie Geeks, because I'm actually going to table that for the next time that we, meet with some of the actual rollers of the cigars for a Stogie Geeks episode. That's actually going to be one of my 2019 questions. Is, speaking of the future, could they, especially if you have two different countries that make a blend, what do you think about that? And kind of get their thoughts. I'm assuming that if you speak to the farmer level, the actual roller, that they're going to have a huge objection for that. I just imagine.
Well, I think Nicaragua's, from my understanding and talking with people from, I use Perdomo a lot because I've had a lot of contact with Perdomo over the course of my tenure in the cigar industry. And so in talking with people like that from Perdomo, the biggest reason that your factories are in Nicaragua is because Nicaragua makes it business friendly. Mm-hmm. The people want to work. They understand the value of hard work. Honduras doesn't make it user friendly, for lack of a better term. And to answer the question a little bit about the American tobacco, the Connecticut broadleaf and the Pennsylvania broadleaf did originate in America. They've just taken the seed and basically produced a better product out of Nicaragua and Honduras. Mm-hmm. However, America is known for its immense pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
And the flavor that comes out of the Virginias and things like that for pipe tobacco. I mean, I love my pipe tobacco. So America has a good market there. Like Joe said, it's just not profitable.
Nah, we'd be spending, it's I mean, what about the boutique cigars that come out at $17? I mean,
exactly.
I say it all the time. $17 cigar. There's nothing wrong with spending $17 for a cigar. However, if you're going to spend $17 for a cigar, buy a Davidoff, buy a Padron. Done deal. Don't waste your time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people say, well, I get hate mail all the time. Joe H. StogieGeeks.com, right? Keep it going, right? I respond to all of them. It's one of those things where you say, okay, well, why do I dismiss the boutiques at a higher price, right? It's easy because I know that is costing them and should be on the shelf as an $8 to $10 stick, and they're going, this is a special blend. It's $17, and hey, hats off. You need better marketing if you want to compete against Davidoff. I'm just saying. There. But if you're looking at a price point, the wine industry is like that. The craft beer industry is like that. Spirit industry is like that, right? I'm pretty sure that cost of a bourbon that's $50 might be pretty close in regards to production costs. But after a while, as years progress, you start to bank on your reputation, your consistency, the brand, the batch, the year, the et cetera, all those marketing points, and they can turn around and say that. But if you're going to spend $20 for a cigar, buy one with a track record. Don't try to get into the...
Have you ever had a Vietnamese cigar?
No. No.
I have.
Really?
In Vietnam.
Really?
Yeah, it costs like a nickel.
Really?
Yeah, it was okay.
It was okay. There you go.
I'm sure they have them in China too. I was just thinking about that because in China they grow tons of tobacco. Mm-hmm. I mean, every region has their own tobacco, and they make every city has their own cigarettes. Mm. So like Nanjing Gold are like the best cigarettes on earth. Actually, I like Nanjing Red. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but when I used to smoke cigarettes, I like Nanjing Reds are my favorite cigarettes. It's really, really good.
So you could buy Nicaragua, and it was a nickel?
The cigar was, yeah.
No kidding.
I have no idea I mean, me. I don't know. I don't know how good. I don't know how good of a cigar it was, but you could set up your cigar factory there. They love to do business.
Yeah.
I have all kinds of connections in Vietnam. I know all these players, and the cost of labor is makes Nicaragua look like New York City. Mm. And they got tons of people. Everybody wants a job. People roll cigars.
There we go, Josepa. We're moving to Vietnam.
Yeah,
awesome.
The Italian kid roaming around Vietnam.
Oh, they don't care as long as it's all just green is all that matters.
Yeah, right.
That's just a thought.
No, I got it. I have the final numbers to wrap up this segment because I've been blurting out Nicaragua's here to stay, and I don't like to just keep it going, and then not have facts and figures to actually back it up. All right?
This is going to be like the farm report. Good afternoon, New Jersey.
Yep. Good afternoon,
the 6 a.m. farm report.
And I quote, Nicaragua remains the top exporter of handmade cigars with 144.2 million cigars shipped for the first 10 months of 2018.
Wow.
The Dominican Republic ranks second with 98.5 million, and Honduras ranks third with 57.1 million. There you go. There you have it.
I did my part. What? I did my part to consume those.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's pretty cool, like how, 6 months ago, I wasn't privy to the numbers, and I'm just saying, just from noticing the activity, not only the inbound inquiries that come in to Stogie Geeks about coming on the show and doing that, when you start to do a diagnosis of the blend, you start to say, wow, it's Nicaragua. It's a common theme, right? Nicaragua, okay. Nicaragua and Honduran, okay. Now I think that through 2019, you're going to start to hear Connecticut broadleaf Nicaraguan, right? They're starting to experiment with that. Now I know I'm going to get emails saying, Connecticut broadleaf's been around with Nicaraguan for 5 years and whatnot. Yeah, sure, but has it been in, can you name 10 cigars, right? I'd have to do some research to actually script and scrape for 10 cigars. If you need me to name 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 Nicaraguan cigars and we were playing a game here on Stogie Geeks, I can crank it out like that. Dominican, I can crank it out like that. Honduran, I can crank it out like that. So if it's not top of tongue or top of brain for people, it's not going to be top of wallet when they're going into a humidor, if it's a brick and mortar, or if they're going online and shopping. They're not going to be like, I have a hankering for a box of Connecticut broadleaf with Nicaragua. Let me see what's out there. It doesn't work like that, right? It works from a social experience or a friend recommendation or a shop owner's recommendation if the shop really pushes the cigars and does that there. And that's really the future of the industry, which is almost like the way it was way back in the 50s where, you had people who were out there dealing with products and selling the products and going out there and then really pushing it. Social media has been a huge part for the success for some of these boutique cigars, for sure. I think it's definitely.
I think another important thing to note in the numbers as well is that for the first 10 months, and I quote, the first 10 months of the year, premium cigar exports were up 12% to 301.1 million cigars.
Mm-hmm.
That same period in 2017, it was 268.7 million.
Mm.
So you've gone up, 34, 35 million cigars.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge, but I'd also like to throw out there to remember that a lot of this is contributed to the big online box stores, and really, I hope that we can see some people focus back on their brick and mortars.
Yeah, I do too, but I think that is, but there's no reason why a box store, there's no reason why a brick and mortar can't throw their stuff online, right? And I know there's the Amazon effect, but guess what? Amazon's not into tobacco. The minute it does, this industry's done in 3 weeks, right?
You're absolutely right.
Future, you've heard it here first, right? Don't know if that's their intentions or whatnot, but there's no reason why a brick and mortar. I cannot tell you how many times I go into a brick and mortar, either locally or during my travels. I'm like, are you online with these? Well, no. Well, okay, I'm traveling, and I can't get these anywhere in the Northeast, okay? So one or two choices. I really like these cigars, okay? Would you rather have me buy them from you, take my credit card and ship it, or do you want me to go to a big box? Because either way, I'm getting what I want. And consumers will always find a way to get what they want. What I also think is fascinating when you talked about the rise is that, let's put this in perspective, only just a fraction of 2% of population of the U.S. smoke premium cigars. So where's the number going up? Is that 2% in 2019 and 2020 going to be 2.5%? Is it going that way, lateral, so that there's more people consuming premium tobacco? Is there going to be another tobacco boom like there was in the late 90s? I mean, when I owned the cigar shop in Providence, I mean, it was a good time, But then again, competition comes in and stuff like that. So you kind of have to figure out, like, where are we the 2%, if it's still 2%, are we smoking more, or are we gifting more Like, where are those numbers coming from? That's where I want to do a little bit more research and get back to the Stogie Geeks listener on that, because it goes up and up, but where do you think it's going?
I do think I do know something about business, and I do think that brick and mortar is facing an uncertain future. I mean, and you don't have to be cigar brick and mortar; it can be anything.
Sure.
As we see every day, famous brick and mortar stuff. It's really difficult as a brick and mortar company to compete with online big box stores. So you have to be able to differentiate yourself from the fact that I can jump on a company, I won't name any particular one, and buy a box of cigars far cheaper than I can buy it in a brick and mortar store. Even if I pay the use tax and all these things I'm supposed to pay. So I think that store owners, and this has been my experience traveling around, I think store owners, one, have got to get better at meeting customers' needs if they want to keep people coming to the store. So I went to a cigar shop not too long ago in another state I was visiting. They sold me a box of the most horrifically awful cigars I have ever smoked. I mean, they were just terrible. And they were like $12.95 a cigar. And I bought a whole box of them because I went in there and said, I'm going to be here for a week. I'm going to buy a box of cigars. Guy said, this is my top recommendation. And I really felt totally swindled when I got home with them. I really did. I was like, wow. And I went back there later and I said, I'm not going to shop here anymore. And he was like, why? And I said, well, I can go online and I could have done this.
Yeah.
I could have bought a horrible box of cigars online all by myself for a lot cheaper. And I looked those cigars up online and I was paying $4 premium per cigar.
Yeah.
I could have got them for $8.95 online.
Yep.
And had them shipped to me. And I paid $4 extra, and they were awful. And I didn't have any reviews to look at, and I was relying on this person. So I think if you're going to be a brick and mortar store, you're going to have to find a way to say, here's an experience that you get to have. It's worth it, to come in here. Like I went to a bunch of places in Orlando and Vegas, and they were so nice, but you got to give people good advice. Not everybody's an expert, and they can't go in there and assess.
Sure. Do you remember the brand or no?
Yeah, it was those, what is it, Laguros or whatever? No, that's not right. It's the most popular cigar around right now.
La Flor Dominicana, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. Most popular.
I don't want to bash it. I don't want hate mail.
All right.
I like everyone.
Doug's going to be nice. I'd be like, I've had those there.
Well,
I put you on the spot. I do.
What I read
Was
about
the shop in Maine?
No,
No.
We're going to keep. Well, can we?
No, I'll give you some clues, and you can tell me what it is because you told me about it.
Okay.
So you didn't tell me to buy it. I was talking about it before. So it was like apparently they're really popular. They can't keep up with demand, and they really cut back on their quality and style because they're trying to meet the massive demand that they have for these cigars.
It's La Flor Dominicana.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So as soon as you said
LFD. Right.
As soon as you said La Hero, well, there goes that sponsorship. Right. As soon as you said,
I ruined everything.
No, it's all good. Right. As soon as you said La Hero, my brain goes into a queue. Right. Okay, it's only one of these six.
Yeah.
But if you were there. See, what I think, I totally agree with you in regards to the brick and mortar. Here's what I think that their problem is. And I speak to cigar owners every day at all different times, and they all tell me, no, you don't understand what it is. No. Yeah, if you go online, you have to let go of Keystone. It's just that simple, right? Because you go into a shop, and the methodology is the same. I mention it all the time here, there, and you have to come up with a new way of doing business to be functional with the keystone of how you're keystoning that product. Because if that product comes onto your shelf, you keystone it, customer walks in, you make money, taxes go here, your money goes there, consumer gets what they want. That's business, okay? But online, you have to be able to eat keystone. I mean, if you're looking for a pair of headphones, if you're looking for a guitar amp, you're looking for a guitar and whatnot, you walk into a brick and mortar guitar place and you're going to pay sticker price, right? You walk into an online version and buy it, you can get it for $200 cheaper. What's the difference? They're eating the keystone, and they're coming up with a business model to deal with what I guess we can dub it the Keystone Crunch, right? And if they dealt with that, and because I've had numerous cigar owners, and we'll kind of wrap up this segment with that is, they say, well, I'm not going online because I'm not eating Keystone. Well, guess what? You get paid to move product, okay? So if you bought that box of cigars, okay, and it sits on the shelf, you're not making any money. Would you rather make 80 cents on the dollar, 20 cents, whatever the numbers are, and then come up with a new business model to adapt? Or do you want that box sitting on the shelf and you wait till you get your full keystone?
And I'll put the word on it. So here's the word: trust. So based on guitars. So if you went to a local guitar shop and you didn't trust them and they sold you a piece of junk for $2,000, you're not going to ever go there again.
Right.
And so you have to trust people, and that's what sets them apart from an online merchant, where you just go in there and you go, well, I hope these reviews aren't all fake. Mm-hmm. But it's like, and I mean, I've been in great cigar shops that gave great recommendations, but this one, I really was frustrated with the person, and I'm not somebody that goes busting back in there yelling about it. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm not going to come back.
Yeah.
And as a brick and mortar store, you lost my business, and I'll buy somewhere else next time, because you not only just recommended a bad thing, but you recommended something that was quite expensive, and I bought it, and I went home and went, wow, there's a waste of money.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So here's my take.
Let's wrap this up because we got Sticks of the Week coming up.
Yeah, we do.
All right, wrap it up.
So here's my take. If you're going to be a shop owner and you want to survive, you need to hire and train knowledgeable staff. You need to have cigar owners / reps coming in and educating your people on a constant basis. You need to be rotating your stock. You need to be aggressive in the sense of figuring out what your customer wants when they walk through the door. Don't just make a recommendation because you like it. Make a recommendation because you know the customer is going to like it. It's all customer focused. Guys and gals will come in the shop if you make it customer focused. Mm-hmm. If you make it all about, hey, my name is Chris Clarke, I own the shop, and this is what I smoke, you should smoke this, guess what? I'm not coming back. That's my take on that.
Yeah, I think that there is some work that has to be there. And I know some shops that are getting it done. I mean, we've had Dan Davison here on the show, and, they're online at cupofjoes.com. They're online, and they also have a retail, and they adapt to whatever it is, and they do very well. And they're not complaining about, this JR's or the famous or boom, see it. They're not complaining about that. They're doing their thing, figuring out a business model to make it work, and then moving on with the business. And if you don't adapt, you're going to run out of runway room, and you're done. And so just put the egg timer on, and then there you go. When we come back, we're going to talk about Sticks of the Week of what we've been smoking. Stay tuned.